There are tons, and I mean tons, of really bad gadgets in Brawl Stars. You're better off not even buying them because they're so bad that a lot of the time, they don't really do anything to actually help you. They're more like a button that you just shouldn't press. Some gadgets are worse than others, but today we're gonna go through the top 20 worst gadgets that I found in Brawl Stars. I might have missed a couple, and some of these aren't like terrible, but the further we get down the list, the worse they're gonna be. Really quick though, take your phone and press that gadget subscribe button down below. Subscribe, yeah, thanks. So yeah, starting at number 20, we have Chester's Candy Beans. This one's like good and also bad because it's RNG. You could get a really bad effect. You could get something that you don't even need and the gadget could actually be worthless. And in that case, yeah, it's a really bad gadget. You basically get a random effect for like 5 seconds. Like right now I get speed and that could be useful. It could also be completely useless. You could also get something like healing when you're at full HP. Maybe you wanted a speed boost. Maybe you wanted a damage boost. At that point, it's useless. Or you could get yeah, another speed boost. It's completely random. You could get the same one 3 times. You could get like damage or healing when you don't need it at all. So in that sense, it's kind of bad. Another really bad gadget in this game is Shelly's fast forward. And while a dash can be all right, the fact that Shelly has the worst dash in the game on one of the worst brawlers in the game is not a very good mix. Other brawlers like Max have a dash that makes her completely invulnerable. Shelly's dash is just a dash. It's not that good. So this is what you get out of the gadget. You press the button, you go forward a few feet, and that is it. Most of the time, other people are actionable before you, so you might get shot before you can shoot them. It's not a very good gadget. A very situational gadget in this game is Pocos Protective Tunes, because this only works when you get slowed or you get like poisoned or something like that. So if you put this gadget on, sometimes you won't even have any use for it in a match. If nobody on the enemy team has some sort of effect to inflict on you, then you won't be able to use the gadget. It won't do anything. And another problem with it is it seems like you can't use it while you're stunned or something like that. So you can't negate stuns with it either. It's not that good. So imagine I'm in a match right now where the enemies don't have anything to put on me that I could get rid of it. This is all it does. Now, I have an idea for maybe a rework for this. What if anybody in the radius of this gets like a 10% damage reduction shield? I feel like that could actually be pretty cool. I feel like that would look cool too, but most of the time it's a pretty bad gadget. Fidget Spinner is one of those gadgets that really have no use. You can use it and you'll probably get nothing out of it most of the time. You spin around, throw a bunch of dynamite around you, you go a little bit faster, but honestly, it's not that big of a difference. And most of the time, you're better off not even using it because you could shoot normally instead of throwing in random directions. It's not that good. For those who need a refresher, this is what it does. 99% of the time, that's not going to hit anybody. Unless they're not moving like these bots, then maybe it'll hit them. But for movement, you go like slightly faster. It is a cool concept, but it's just not good. While we're on the theme of throwers, we have Tick's Mania gadget. This one is also pretty bad. All it does is add a few more mines to Tick's next attack. It can be good if you can hit all of them, but most of the time, that's not going to happen. You're probably just going to hit 1 or 2 like normal anyways, so it's not that good. So here's a normal shot, and then here is a Mania shot. It's just more mines that may or may not even hit the enemy. When they first started releasing gadgets, there was a lot like this one, like multi-ball launcher, where a bunch of projectiles go out around you, kind of like Fidget Spinner, and most of the time with these, it wouldn't even hit anybody. Like, I barely ever see anybody use this, and when they do, I never see it actually do anything useful. So you can be shooting normally, and then somebody comes up on you, oh, I gotta do this. Wow, that did like no damage. Like, it's so bad. I don't know what they could do to make those better. I feel like those ones shouldn't really exist. They're just not that good. Another gadget in that same field, Recoiling Rotator. It's even worse than Rico's, actually. In my opinion, this one is just so bad. It can be good in one situation. If you are a god player playing in Heist and you get on there safe and you can spin perfectly, then it's a good gadget. In every other scenario, this one is pretty bad. So what you're supposed to do is use this to get your super, but a lot of the time it either won't hit anybody or it'll just give you a tiny bit of super and do a tiny bit of damage. It's really not worth it. His other gadget is better. It helps his kit more. Plus, Daryl can already get his super without using the gadget. So let's say there's one enemy here and I need to try to get my super. That's actually a decent amount of super, but it's still not a very good gadget regardless. Now, this gadget is really bad. I don't really know what the point of this one is, but you sacrifice your own health to get a spirit. You can't damage enemies with it if you don't have Cookie Popper. This one is so much better. Soul Switcher is so bad in my opinion. opinion. So this is all it does. You press it, you hurt yourself, and then... Wait, do I still have shield while I'm hurt? That's weird. Either way, I got the spirit thing, and then boom, I can slap a ghost down. I can't even explode it, which is probably one of Gus's best abilities. But one decent thing, I guess, is that you can get the spirit bar, throw a ghost, and then immediately get it again and throw another one. But again, you can't even explode them, so what's the point? I mean, people are gonna have to run up and get them. It's not great. Bose Tripwire gadget used to be really, really good, because I believe it used to explode immediately when you press the gadget. It was insanely good, and then they nerfed it like crazy, and now it sucks. It takes 1.5 seconds to explode. You have to preemptively press this so early in order to catch anybody with it. And not only that, but Super Totem is like one of the best in the game for like cheese and stuff. So using Tripwire is just never really an option. It's not that good. This is one that can be really good if you're a god or if the enemy sucks. So like if I place my super here and all right, well, thank you so much, robot. But here, let me just show you. You activate it, and that much later it explodes. So I want to try to get it like this where the bots don't activate it. So if they're out of the radius, then you can activate it and hit them before they even see it. That's the only time it can be good, but it relies on them being in the radius in the first place. Most of the time, they're not gonna be. Another gadget that used to be really good that got nerfed to the ground is Rattled Hive. He spits out a bunch of bees around her that spin around and they do damage as they hit people. But before, they could pierce and they could go around multiple times. And now, if they hit something, they just disappear. And it's pretty bad because they have to go really far out to do any damage. But if they can't pierce, then they're probably not gonna get that far. It's a high skill cap gadget, but it's also not great. It doesn't have a great reward. I remember when this one used to be like crazy. This used to be like my favorite gadget in the whole game. Yeah, like it has good range, but it just doesn't have as good of a payoff as it used to. Maybe I can get it to hit this guy. Nope, it's hard to hit as well. Like it goes so far. I wanted to hit the guys on the right, but I don't want to hit the guys on the left. There we go. Yeah, what? The last of them didn't even hit him. This gadget's also bugged, I believe. I think I saw something on Twitter where it just goes through them. Okay, now this one might be like actually the worst gadget in the entire game. I don't know. This one's like bottom 3 for me. This one is Coin Shower, and all it does is add one more projectile to Griff's next shot. This is so much worse than any other gadget like it, and I just feel like it doesn't even fit Griff at all. I feel like it's so bad. When are you ever gonna get use out of this one? Here, let me show you, okay? Without the gadget, 1, 2, 3. With the gadget, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's honestly not worth it at all because you could just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And instead, you're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. It's barely any different. Now we have Vengeful Spirits for Jean. This one used to be awful. This one honestly used to be the worst gadget that has ever seen the game, but they did buff it a lot. It has more damage. I just still feel like it's not that good. It can be though. So I don't want to give it like a terrible rep, but it's also just not great. So what this does is pretty simple. You press it and projectiles go out and they do damage. The fact that it does more damage now means that it's not nearly as bad as before. But the bad thing is if there's anything in the way, it'll just hit the wall and won't really do anything. But in open maps where there aren't walls that people can hide behind, then it can be okay. But the problem is that they have to be out in the open in order for it to do like any damage. And if they take any bit of cover, they're probably going to completely avoid it. Like it's not amazing. Max's Sneaky Sneakers gadget has so much potential to be great, but it just needs a little bit of a rework. What this does is you put something down, you run away, and then 3 seconds later, you teleport back to it, you get your health back and maybe your ammo, I'm not sure, but it just doesn't work because that you can die in like 1 second in Brawl Stars. It's not worth the time. Like it's just not gonna work out. Most of the time, if you put that down and you try to rush in, you're not coming back basically. So let me show you real quick. I'll put it down, I'll take some damage, right? Boom, and then I go back, I get the HP back. It's good in concept, but in practice, it's not the best. I'm just gonna put it down and then get my health back again. Boom, there it is. How they can make this better though, is instead of putting it down and then teleporting back to it, I feel like what they should do is just copy Tracer from Overwatch, and as soon as you press a gadget, you go back in time, but don't heal all of the health because that would be broken. Instead, I'd say heal like 20, 30% of the damage that you took in the last like 3 seconds. I think that would be actually a pretty decent way to make that work, and it would make Max a super fun brawler. That would make her even more fun than she already is. Plus, her first gadget is infinitely better than the second one anyways, so you might as well buff the second one, and that's honestly a good way to buff it. Now we have a legendary brawler with a terrible gadget. Dancing Flames is so bad, it's inconsistent, it barely works. All it does is put some circles around Amber that are supposed to do damage, and a lot of the time, they don't even go far enough to hit your enemy. It's just not great. The only time this is really useful is if like a tank is slightly far away from you, like not on you, but away from you, or somebody's behind a wall. So let's see how the damage is with the gadget. Yeah, it's very slow. It doesn't help that much, but it can do 4,000 damage in total, so it's not terrible. But let's say they're like right on me. Nope, doesn't hurt them. They have to be at like this distance, otherwise it doesn't work. It's a really weird distance for Amber because Amber likes being far away from people, but if somebody is up close to you, you can't even use it on them. It's not great. This one might just be my opinion, but I think that Megs Toolbox gadget isn't that good. I feel like there's other reload speed gadgets that are so much better than this one. And yeah, it's a totem, but the problem is you have to stand near it the whole time in order for it to have any effect. And if it gets destroyed, then it's useless like any other totem in the game. But out of every totem in the game, I think that this one might be the worst. So let's see. So 1, 2, 3, and then there's my reload speed. It's very normal, I guess. And then 1, 2, 3, I'll put the gadget down and it's faster. That's basically it. If the totem goes away, then the effect is completely gone. So it can be good if you put it like here and they don't have a thrower or they don't have anybody to deal with it. But then you're a sitting duck because you have to be in this little radius in order to even get the usage out of it. So I don't think it's incredible. Here is another very bad gadget in this game, Ice Block Lose gadget. I'm sad about this because it's a cool concept, but it's literally just a worse version of Max's gadget and it leaves Lou a sitting duck. You freeze yourself, you're invincible, but you can't move at all. So then they can just wait until you can move again, and then you're probably in a terrible position. If you time this right, then you can actually waste like all of their ammo on you, but that depends on them doing that in the first place. If they wait, then you're kind of dead. So if I'm getting shot, then I can block like one projectile from the sky and that's it. And again, the problem is the fact that you can't move while you're doing it. So if I do this, I can't move and then I'm a sitting duck and then he can keep firing at me. It's not great. It seems like Chromatics have a ton of the bad gadgets, but Fang has Corn Fu, which in concept is pretty good. It's a big radius around him that does damage, but most of the time you're either going to get no damage or only 500. Never more than that. It's honestly not worth it. His other gadget is way better. So here it is in game. You throw popcorn and that's it. If there's a bunch of enemies, then you might get a little bit more damage, but most of the time it's going to be either nothing or just like one little hit. If they decide to walk around the popcorn, then it's good, but if I'm being honest, I feel like this needs a buff in damage and it should be fine because right now it just feels like it doesn't really do anything. I don't know. They can kill these little tiny robots, but that's it. It also doesn't help that Fang is not a long-range brawler. Like, he is not supposed to be far away, so using that gadget doesn't really make sense with him. So this one might be another heavily opinionated one. Maybe this gadget's actually really good. I don't know. I just think it's not great compared to most other healing gadgets in the game. But Eve's Motherly Love, I think, is significantly worse than her first one where she can jump away and drop a little person on the ground. This one makes your super come to you and heal you instead of going to the enemies and putting on pressure. I feel like this is much worse. So if I take a bunch of damage real quick and then I put my super down and then I press my gadget, I think it should make them instantly come out and then heal me, I believe. So please heal me. How much are they healing? It's good healing, but I don't know if it's worth the trade-off. It takes so long for them to get to you. Granted, I pressed it way early, but I still don't think it's that good. It's coming down to the wire. We have the two worst gadgets in the game, and this one, I don't know if I should put it in second place or first place for the worst, but Dormant Star is awful. Let me tell you why. Otis's super is amazing for the fact that it can silence people in your face, and then you can kill them when they're in your face. You almost have a guaranteed kill when that happens. With Dormant Star, when you use your super, you put it down, it drops the star on the ground, and they have to walk into it, and then if they do, then they get silenced. 99% of the time, they're either not gonna hit it, or if they do, they're gonna be far away from you. I have never once seen this gadget in use. I have never seen a single person get anything good out of using this gadget, and I'm being completely honest. This might be like one of the worst in the history of the game. Nothing comes close to Crash Test. I have not even seen anybody use this gadget because of how unbearably bad it is. This thing is so bad. It's by far the worst dash in the entire game. I kind of forgot about this when I mentioned Shelly's, but this one is so bad. Let me show you how bad this is. So look at the distance on this thing. It's so tiny, and it's also like hard to hit. Like, watch this. It just feels so puny. It feels so bad, and it stuns them for like half a second or even less. Like, watch this, watch this. He shoots me, I do this, he immediately shoots me again. There was no difference in that. I feel like this gadget is so useless. Like, most of the time, you're probably not even gonna hit it because of how small it is. It doesn't stun them. All it does is 300 damage and like knock them up in the air for like a split second. I'm pretty sure most people are actionable before you are when you're doing that gadget, so you might be hurting yourself by doing that, and it's just not good. It's not good. I think that this one is the worst in the history of the game. That or Dormant Star. Dormant Star is so bad. But yeah, if there's any gadgets that I missed, or if you think that some that I mentioned here are actually good, then let me know in the comment section, because I haven't used some of these ever since they came out, because I know that at the start at least they were really bad, so I assume that they're still pretty bad. But I'd like to know if there's a gadget that I mentioned here that's actually good now, because maybe I can start using it. But yeah, subscribe and goodbye.